We are joined by one of the best guys of the year, the one and only Money Moicano. And also, you're a hard man to get hold of, brother.
What's up, Bisping? What's up? How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. So, we haven't spoken quite some time. You know Paul Felder, of course.
Yes, of course. Former
How you been? How you been?
I'm been good, training hard, fighting in 4 weeks, so getting ready for the next one.
So we got a lot to talk about. The last time I saw you in person was in Paris. You went out there, dude. My God, you destroyed Benoit Saint Denis. I mean, what a performance that was. Before we talk about your next fight, I mean, just talk to me about that whole experience in Paris and that fight in general.
Bisping, I saw you there, and I remember Paul Felder was on the room too, and I was telling. They think I'm going to come here to lose to a French, but I'm gonna beat his ass, and that's what I did. You know, I took advantage of the kick. He kicked me. I was expecting that. Once I was on the top, I think Benoit Saint Denis is a really good fighter, but they rush him. You know, they rush him because he was doing so good, and UFC. They want to promote, especially a European fighter, a French fighter. And I don't know if you guys saw on France, but every place that I was walking and going to the subway, going to this, all over the place, I saw photos of BSD, you know. So even for me, he was even more, he was more famous than Gani, right? A heavyweight. So that means UFC they were putting a lot of weight on him, and that was the problem. You know, he was coming off 5 finishes, like doing very well, and then he lost to DP, but he was winning the fight, and they say, okay, I'm gonna put Moicano over there to lose, but I just beat his ass, you know.
Now, let me jump in there, because a lot of fighters, like we just had Joaquin Buckley at the weekend, they kind of feel like they're being brought in to lose. That was kind of the energy that we got from Joaquin Buckley last week. You just said that there. All they're doing is, and this isn't me defending the UFC. This is me
100%. Where do you get your paycheck from, my brother?
Yeah, no.
I'm joking.
No, I do get my paycheck from them. But let
me too. Look, I love UFC, brother. I have
no. Hear me out. As a 45-year-old man that isn't involved in the fight, you can look at it a little bit more objectively. See, of course, they're going to promote Benoit Saint Denis. He's the French person in France where they're trying to build the sport. So they're trying to sell tickets because people want to root for their own. It's like
it's not only that. It's not only
in
that.
England, they were promoting me like a
100%.
In Australia, it's Volkanovski. In France, it's Benoit Saint Denis. But when you're in the octagon, it's like, hey, figure it out, guys. We're the best to win.
100%. No, I'm not disagreeing you. When a fight is a fight, and how many times we saw a Matt Serra against GSP? That happens. But a fight is a fight. But is all about supply and demand, you know? Like you say, how many English fighters they have, how many French fighters they have, and how many Brazilian they have, you know?
A lot.
We are like the Mexicans of MMA, you know? If they need somebody to do the hard work, they're going to call a Brazilian. And if he loses, they have another one. So it is what it is. I don't get mad UFC. I know what they're trying to do, you know? Benoit Saint Denis, young, special force, very, very good fighter, but he was not in my level. And that's just me seeing objectively, you know? He is very aggressive, but if you look his technique, he has some poor technique, you know.
Bro, you beat the crap out of him, though. I mean, that was. I said this on air, and I got a little bit of abuse for it. But people that don't know, they're stupid. That was a 10-7 round. That was a 10-7 round because you beat him from pillar to post for 5 minutes. It was amazing that the doctor didn't stop it. I mean, is that kind of what you expected? Did you think you would run through him that easy?
Not really. I was expecting a tough fight, you know, but I knew I have been working on my ground game, especially on my ground and pound. So I knew what he would try to do, you know. I saw he fight against Frevola, against Thiago Moises, against all the other fighters, and he really trust on his butterfly guard, you know. But I was telling my coach, I think, if he sweeping me with that shit, I'm gonna change my name, because that doesn't work anymore. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I come from jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu doesn't work like used to be, you know. So if you are in a top position, if you secure the takedown, jiu-jitsu is going to serve you well. But if you accept takedowns and you pull guard, or even if you accept to be on the bottom, you're gonna be fucked. You know, it's just the way things are doing. And to me, Benoit Saint Denis, he always trusts too much on his ground game, because he can use the hook to sweep, to reverse, or to get back. And I knew, like, that's not happening. When he tried to do that, I'm gonna elbow him in the face. And I know you did not ask about Dariush, but I want to give you my opinion on that, because that's why I think the fight is going to be even harder, because Benoit Saint Denis was not expecting for me to put the pressure, to control him on the top. Beneil Dariush 100% will expect that. So that's going to make my work harder. But no matter what, I am beating his ass in the same way. I don't give a shit, you know. I respect you a lot, Beneil Dariush. Actually, from the old top 15, as a human being and as a guy that I respect, I think I respect Beneil Dariush the most, because he's being vocal about his religion and all that stuff, and I really respect him for that. But unfortunately for him, I'm gonna have to beat his ass on January 18th.
Renato, along those lines of Beneil, you know, he's on a guy that was one of the best guys for a long, long time, but lately just hasn't necessarily looked as good as he used to. Do you feel like this is just the time to get him out of that way, move further into the rankings? Do you think Beneil's at the end of his career at this point? And because of that, what kind of fight are you expecting from him? Do you expect him to try to go and knock you out? Do you think he wants to play with you on the ground? What kind of a strategy do you think Beneil's bringing to you, since you've shown the ability to fight on the feet, on the ground, wherever it takes place?
The first question, if I believe if he's done, to me that's irrelevant. You know, to me, I don't know if he's in the end of his career, or if he still has time to go. Only he can say that, but to me is irrelevant. To me, the question, to me, it doesn't make any sense. I'm going over there and I'm dominating not Benoit Saint Denis. I'm Beneil Dariush. I've done that. So next time it's going to be Beneil Dariush. I say that so many times in my head that I got on my head. So, but I have the same mentality. I'm going over there. I don't care if he's in a good situation or he's in a bad situation, or if he's good mentally or bad mentally. It's just my work. I have to go over there and try to finish him and knock him out, or submit him on the first, on the second, on the third round. Doesn't matter. So I don't think how he's think. I don't think how he feels. I know how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling great. You know, I'm feeling very good about myself. I'm feeling very good about my technique, and I don't even care about rankings. I don't even care about nothing. I just want money. It's easy. It's simple that way. I want to go over there, beat his ass, get some money, and keep doing my thing. You know,
brother, you keep doing what you're doing though. You're going to make plenty of money. But speaking of money, speaking of big high profile matchups, what happened with the Paddy Pimblett fight? I could have sworn that the stars have aligned for you guys to fight by now.
Me too. I should ask you, because you work with UFC, and I don't know. I don't know how they did. Actually, I know why they didn't make the fight, because I would destroy Paddy, and they know. I know that, you know. And it's not good business to promote a almost 36-year-old. They're gonna go over there to England and beat like a guy that could be a potentially poster boy. Because let's be honest. Paddy Pimblett, he's very funny. He has a good style, and he's not a terrible fighter. He's just he just needs to work on his defense, right? He knows how to throw punches. The only problem is his chin all the time, but eventually he can get better on this. So UFC is trying to do everything right this time, because with Benoit Saint Denis, they rushed him and they saw, okay, we our French product. Now let's work on our English product. Let's work on him. And I have heard that they're gonna do BSD fight against him, and I think that's a very good matchup. You know, I don't know if it's a deal, but you know how Twitter is, right? People are tweeting this. I don't know if they're gonna do or not. But if they do, just gonna show everybody that they were not willing to risk Paddy Pimblett against Money Moicano. But I think it's a very fun matchup. I think the build up for the fight will be awesome. And I don't even dislike Paddy Pimblett, you know? I don't even dislike him. Unfortunately for him, he's in my division and he's a big profile. A lot of people watching him. And like you say, I want big fights. I want big checks. Moicano wants money.
Who do you think wins that one, Renato? Do you think Paddy can beat Benoit, or do you think Benoit handles that fight if it happens?
If it happens, I think Benoit definitely should be the favorite. I'm not counting Paddy Pimblett out because we know that he can take a punch. You know, the Jared Gordon fight, he received a lot of punches and he has a good jiu-jitsu, you know. But I think Benoit Saint Denis aggressiveness and power will be too much for Paddy Pimblett. That's my opinion, but who knows? A fight is a fight.
Yeah, that's the truth.
What about you guys? What do you guys think about the fight?
No, I'm sitting on the fence here as an Englishman.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you there. That's why I wanted to hear what you had to say. But I agree. I think Paddy is pretty good, but I think that Benoit is just, if he's on, like you did the right thing. You came at him. I don't know if Paddy does that same thing, and if he backs himself up at all and eats too many shots and doesn't get a position to get it on top, because even on his back, I think Benoit's smart enough to stay out of triangles and things like that from him, and he's just so aggressive from the jump. He might be able to hurt him too bad too early on.
Yeah,
especially coming off 2 losses, right?
Yeah, he's going to be hungry.
Well, this is the thing, because Benoit Saint Denis, I mean, he's a very motivated man. He's a dangerous man. You know, he's a guy that prepares and trains hard. So I think this would be the worst time to get Benoit Saint Denis. Yeah, he just lost twice. And yeah, the confidence takes a little bit of a knock. But me, he is going to be prepared and ready as best he can be. This will be the most dangerous version. I want to ask you about something you said before, Renato, because it's really interesting. Because me and Paul were talking about this on Saturday night. You're a jiu-jitsu guy originally, correct?
Yes.
But what you said before is that even in today's climate of mixed martial arts, you can't lie on your back and rely on jiu-jitsu. And hearing somebody like yourself, a high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, realizing that and talking about that, I think it's really interesting, because me and Paul say it all the time. A lot of people, a lot of newcomers or people without the most experience, they get taken down, they lie on their back, they're trying to do submissions and all the rest of it, and they're just losing the fight. You know, but you as a jiu-jitsu guy say it doesn't really work in 2024.
Unfortunately not. And I had a couple discussions on the gym, because it's still, and especially Brazilians, because I think as Brazilians, they see jiu-jitsu as a Brazilian thing. And if you're talking if you're talking about jiu-jitsu, you're talking about Brazil in the same way, you know? So the other day I was telling that, because the guy was asking me the opinion, why he was doing wrong. And I say, you're trying to play guard the whole time, you know, be on the bottom, losing. Even if you don't get like punished, you're losing the fight, you know, because your back is on the mat, you don't do nothing. So I was telling that it's straight like that. Jiu-jitsu doesn't work anymore. You have couple. This is like, say Anderson Silva was a Taekwondo guy, right? Taekwondo doesn't work. He has couple moves of Taekwondo. Mm-hmm. The front kick, you know, the spinning back kick, the agility, the moves, but he's not a Taekwondo fighter. It's the same with Jiu-Jitsu. You have very good positions, especially if you on the top, if you can pass guard, if you can control the half guard, if you can go to the mount, if you can take the back, Jiu-Jitsu is the best, because the most time that we spent on Jiu-Jitsu is trying to control the opponent. So, of course, you're going to be good at controlling. But that doesn't mean shit if you cannot take the guy down. That's a Jiu-Jitsu. If you have a good Jiu-Jitsu and a good wrestling and a boxing, you could be very good, you know. But if you're just relying on Jiu-Jitsu, you're done. We saw that with Kron Gracie. And I was giving the example, say, Kron Gracie was trying to do that. And they were saying, but Kron Gracie this, Kron Gracie that. Kron Gracie is a world champion in jiu-jitsu. He's one of the best ever in gi and in no gi. And look how terrible he looked on his last fight. How terrible. So to me, it's just like MMA. It's not kickboxing, it's striking. You know, it's not Muay Thai, it's striking. We saw that. We don't see calf kicks on a kickboxing match. We see in an MMA match. So it's different. It's mixed martial arts. Get some positions of jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing, and try to mix it up. I think people are missing the point, trying to defend a flag, right? Say, I'm jiu-jitsu, I'm wrestling. No, brother. You should be an MMA fighter, right?
Yeah. No, I love it. And to hear you as a jiu-jitsu guy saying that, because it kind of annoys me sometimes. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You got to fight. Don't just lie there on your back.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Even though if you can tie them up, if you can get an overhook or an underhook and stuff like that, it's easier. It's easier to just lie on your back and not exert energy, not have to wrestle or try and hit a sweep and walk. And then when you're on your feet again, whoa, now it's back to this shit. And so sometimes they kind of accept being on the bottom because they can get an overhook, they can tie the guard, they can do a body triangle and just slow down the pace of the fight.
Yes, I mean, sometimes you have to play guard. I don't want to be on my back, but if somebody try to take me down, I have to. But you have to know how to stand up. I think that's the most important ability on a grappling match, especially in MMA, is how you can be able to get back. But the problem is some grapplers, they are so bad at striking that they prefer to be on the bottom because if they get back, they don't know how to box, you know? And it's just boring, you know? It's just boring. Some wrestlers, they have this problem too, and we have to remember what makes the sport grows is the fans. And the fans, they want to see crazy fights or they want to see like a very good performance. So if you can go over there and 10-7 somebody like I did last time, that's great. And you're not putting yourself in danger and in risk. But if you just see fighters stalling the fight, people don't want to see that shit. People are not gonna pay tickets, and you're not gonna have a very good career on UFC.
Now, since we spoke, Donald Trump is now the president. Well, he's gonna be the president. Money Moicano, you know, how has your life changed? When you spoke about Emmanuel Macron in France and you talked shit about him, the crowd just cheered their asses off. How is life for you right now? What is the latest thing you're involved with? What's the latest venture? What's the latest investment tip you have for us, sir? Come on, what's going on?
I don't have adventures. I'm very safe, you know. I like to be home. I like to read some books. I like to train. And one thing that I can tell you for sure is you never should rely on a president. I think Donald Trump is way better than Kamala Harris because the debate. But no matter who is running the office, your life depends on you, you know. And I always tell people that, and especially because Trump say that Elon Musk is going to try to cut some expenses, to lower the debt, but it's almost impossible. If you go through the data that even the government give us, the debt right now is like 130% the GDP. So the debt is just too high, and I don't think President Trump is going to fix that in 4 years. So I see inflation coming. You know, I'm not an economist, but one thing that I can tell you for sure is on the next 4 to 10 years, if you keep saving the dollars, you're gonna lose all your money because they are debasing the currency with printing money. Because let me tell you something, I'm reading a book that I'm gonna give you on my next fight. I'm not gonna tell right now, but the whole thing is central banks are up. Central banks, they control the interest rate, and they give all the incentives for the politicians and for the government to use the power in a wrong way. And that means to lower the interest rates like they're doing right now. We see inflation rising. Last year, the data showed that the monthly inflation rise up. But they say this week they're going to lower the interest rate. What they're going to cause? They're going to cause inflation, and they're going to cause, like we're seeing right now, the market, the stocks are up 30% this year with no growing GDP. This is just printing money flowing to stocks and to houses and to Bitcoin. So let me tell you something. Bitcoin is rising and will rise until 2026.
105 today.
105,000. Yeah. And somebody was asking me if I miss my family, if I miss something like that, if I miss Brazil. And I respond to them, I miss to see Bitcoin at 16K, brother. That's what I miss. That's what I miss the most. To see Bitcoin at 16K. I bought Bitcoin at 16K. But if I could, I should have sell my home and buy Bitcoin at 16K. But there is no top because fiat currency, they are the base in the currency. So 10 years from now, who knows how much Bitcoin will cost. So I advise you guys to read a book. The name is What Government Done to Our Money, Murray Rothbard. He's an Austrian economic, and he say like that. Once the government start to mess with the interest rates and with all that stuff, with your money, that's going to be bad. So the next 10 years is going to be very hard if you like to keep money on the savings account.
Thoughts, Paul?
Man, I'm learning. I got to start chatting with Moicano a little bit on the side here.
Talk to Ben Askren. I don't know if you guys know Ben Askren very well, but he was on Team Pool like last week on talking about Bitcoin, and he knows a lot. You know, all the Austrian economics. He was talking about these guys. He was talking about all that stuff. I think he even invited me to be on that podcast, but I couldn't because I'm training, and so I missed that. But he knows a lot about Bitcoin, especially people that got really early on Bitcoin, like 2013. If you see why they did that, it was all because the 2008 crisis and how they were bailing out banking. So talk to Ben Askren. He knows his shit.
Well, one thing I do know is don't leave your money in the bank. That's 100%. For damn sure. You're just going to lose money every single year. But
I'm asking you why? Why what? Why you
because of inflation, the money just becomes worth less and less every single year.
And who creates inflation? How inflation is created?
The government printing more money.
But how they print the money?
Because they can do it. They've got the authority to do that.
Government doesn't print money. Who print money is the Federal Reserve.
No, Brian, this is Brian. The Federal Reserve.
And the Fed,
and the Fed and taxes is staff 100%. So that's the problem, because most of people don't know how inflation is created, and it's because they lower the interest rate and they sell bonds to the Fed. So it is a scam, and that's why you cannot have money on your bank account, because they are taxing you through inflation. That's the real name. You're losing your purchasing power to taxation, because they use this inflation to get more debt and to sell and to pay for wars and to social programs and welfare that they don't even know. So that's why you have to look into this. At
36 years old, Moicano, that's 35, what you want, right? 35.
Don't be too mean, but almost.
yeah, but you know about the curse, right? At 35 years old, no one's winning fights at 35, brother.
Winning titles, right? Winning titles.
I want a title at 37, buddy.
37? Yeah. Oh, you're inspiration. Only one eye.
Yeah.
What that meant?
How many more years do you think you got left in the sport, bud?
I don't know. I don't think about that too much. Whenever I don't want to stop, but if I go over there and keep losing and putting myself at risk, I don't think that's very smart. But as long as I can make money, I will keep doing.
You're making money though, buddy.
Yeah.
Training over Christmas. How do you feel about that?
I don't care. I don't care too much. I don't care too much about training. Like I have a focus right now, January 18. So I'm doing everything right. I was thinking about that. Like all the time, everything that I do is to have a good training session. So I go sleep early. I don't want to eat the stuff that I eat, but I do because I have to make the weight. So I have a goal, and I have a goal set. And when I have a goal set, I'm happy. I'm just happy when I have a fight. I have to do that. I don't think too much, I just go. I feel happy when I'm like that. So if that means I don't have Christmas, that's okay for me.
Exactly. You got to look at the bigger picture. Renato, it's good to have you back in action. Good to have you back on the podcast. Good to be learning a bit of the economics of the world from the one and only Renata Money Moicano. Brother, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it, Renato. Big fan. No one's bringing you into lose, brother. That's on you. Simple as that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but they are a company, and they do what's the best for the company. And sometimes it's best to have a poster boy from England or from France. But then I will screw the plans every time.
Exactly. That's what you got to do, buddy. Disrupt it, buddy. Get out of here. Renato, you're the man. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Michael Bisping. Thank you so much, Paul. Thank you so much, everybody. And see you guys next time.
My man.
See you soon,
All
bud.
the best. Take care. Thank you.